So here we are, still in our battle of Hippacritae. And we've done a couple of actions at the beginning. First of all, good old Hamilcar did his elite action and healed some of his elephants and some of the horses, just to prepare them for a later attack. If the rebels want to attack his elephants, that's fine with him. Then we move over, and let's see, we moved this guy, and I don't remember his actual name, because he's a substitute counter. He went and tried to rally some units, had a couple failures, had a couple successes, okay, or one success. And then we moved over to Mago, and this is where the first real action came. He got 3 actions. One, he used his elephants, just firing missiles for the most part, although one did strike here on the flank and drove a unit flying back. Then he moved his infantry forward and did that in a couple of pulses, some of which were involved rallying, some which was successful and some less so. But for the most part, he's just trying to break up that whole left flank. And I'd say he's doing an okay job. They had the advantage, but tired troops, so the weaker Carthaginian infantry was able to do some decent work there, especially... See, here's where leadership comes in. The fact that he got 3 actions meant he got to attack, he got to rally from those attacks, he got to attack some more, you know. So he was able to actually influence that side of the line better than you would expect. Now we go back over to one of the rebel actions, and we got a couple of choices here. Either this cav force over here, which could of course sweep in, but there's an elephant in the way there, and the infantry's not terribly in a susceptible position. Or this guy over here, who has a couple of units he could try to rally. I think I'll probably be going over on this side, actually. So Hasdrubal issued an activation line command here, moving those infantry up, smashed into the rebel infantry. So, I mean, the Carthaginian infantry is not very good. So it's not like the rebel infantry is tremendous, but it was a little weakened. I expected it to maybe be weaker than it was, but it's a mixed effect. And Hasdrubal was able to rally some of his forces and move some of his elephants forward. You'll see he's chased some of the lights out of the way, and over here he actually moved all the way down and smashed into this line. There was a heavy that had gotten moved up by this Alexander Simulacrum, and that got knocked out as well. However, so far it doesn't look like the Carthaginians are really gaining a big advantage anywhere, really. I mean, it's not the blowout that the last fight was, and I was kind of expecting this one to be one, but it does not appear to be the same kind of nature, even though the forces seemed similar to me. We'll have to see what the cav can do, but right now we're going to go over here to this combination of light cav here and see if that's able to have any effect. So that rebel cav charged forward, as did a couple infantry units, and kind of did a bit of damage over here. We can see the line, the Carthaginian line, is routing for them. A large part. An elephant got knocked out. But that leaves this entire, the Sacred Band cav ready to swing into action against that flank. They had been less willing to commit because of that light cav, which could have done a lot of damage. We see one of them actually plucked off and took a flank hit there. Over on this side, we have the Numenidian cav, which moved forward and broke up what was left of the line there. One pursued off the map, which is always a problem in this game. So the battle seems to have fully developed at this point. The left flank for Carthage has broken the cav back here. There's some infantry, some peltists. And over on the right flank as well, the heavy cav more or less destroyed the right flank. In the center, and why is it with Carthage always the center, kind of weakly held. Some elephants kind of pinning those heavier infantry down, but for the most part we got those levies in there, and they don't really want to engage too heavily. They're going to let the flanks do the work, and that's pretty much par for the course for Carthage. We get some routed rebels scattered about here and there. The biggie, though, is these points. Carthage has 11, which will bring them up to 19. Well, let's see, 10, 20. 30, 42, 50, 53 points for the rebels, which brings them to 62. The battle's almost over for them. They got about 10 more points left, and they easily have that in units that are currently retreating. So this is not much of a contest. It looked like they were engaging kind of in an interesting fashion for a little bit there, but, you know, once the actual losses started to mount up, they're all on the rebel side. So the rebels in the center launched a massive attack, some flank actions, etc., using their heavy infantry and the Italian whatevers, deserters, however you want to put it, to break up that elephant line, and the elephant center's gone. Now, things are more interesting for Hamilcar's own. He's got this line of lights and levy that he didn't want to move forward with the elephants there, mainly because they're weaker. Now, they could have prevented this action by charging forward, probably, but instead he's allowed his elephants, 3 of them, to pay the price. But now those heavies are kind of exposed, they have flanks showing, and they're weakened, and he can drive them away in a way that maybe he couldn't have before. Elephants are cheap. He thinks he can get an overall advantage from having allowed them to be destroyed. The Numidians on the left flank are mopping up those heavies that came forward. We've got enough losses here that the rebellion has been defeated. They're at 77, 5 points over actually. I might as well finish up the turn, but there's not a lot here. We're just really finishing up a few die rolls, etc. The rebel army has been broken, and there's no way that they're going to break the Carthaginian army. It was only 6 points done so far. It's just not much of a chance there. Well, this is the end of the battle of what, Hippacritae? Nothing shocking here. We saw the what's left of that, the rebel infantry smashed into some an elephant and some of those Carthaginian levies and sent them flying. But at this point, their army's already breaking. So that center that broke through over here, and if I had played a little differently, if I knew the game wasn't ending at this point, or if I didn't know the game was ending, I wouldn't have done what I did. I trumped to try to end it quicker with the Carthaginians. So things look worse on their side with the entire army kind of routing in the center than probably would be the case, because Hamilcar would have come down and rallied some of those units that were breaking. Instead, I just kept trying to prevent Spendius from getting actions just to end it. It's one of the reasons why you probably don't want to fight a battle out when it's already decided like this. Alright, so point-wise, the rebels took another 12, 22, 33 points, puts them up to 95. Minus maybe some more. This guy's going to route off the map, etc. Some of the others probably not. But no attempt was made to rally by their side either. They just went bloodlust. And we managed to get another elephant running around, and it destroyed a unit actually. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14 points on Carthage, brings them to 33. They're about halfway, a little less than that, from their goal, from their defeat level. Again, not a very, in my mind, balanced battle. It strikes me that the rebels just do not have a chance in the last couple battles. I'm not sure if any of the others are any better in terms of balance. They're interesting battles, there's no question, but it's a pain in the butt to hunt out the pieces for these, because in a lot of cases, and I don't think this has anything to do with missing a couple of pieces that maybe came out in some later magazine, or maybe some earlier one that I don't have. Just in order to get this battle together, you'll see, oh look, one heavy Greek infantry mercenary, one Samnite middle infantry. It's just to get that balance right, and you know, unless you have your pieces completely sorted, as some people I know who play squad leader will do, it's really painful to try to get some of these armies. Also, when you look at the battlefield, probably because of the replacement leaders, we have a green leader for the rebels and a green leader for the Carthaginians. Granted, those are substitute leaders. I'm sure if you have all the C3I mags, you have the correct counters. But from my point of view, it's just, is it worth me fighting these battles out? I don't know. It's very hard for me to make a decision of, oh no, I'm not going to do that. And so I'm kind of dawdling through this, not playing anything big. Not that I'm sure I want to play anything big, but I got a couple of ones that I'd love to see. Like, I'd love to get Totaler Krieg on the table. I'd like to, of course, get Europa Universalis up. Most of the other really big things I'm willing to hold on. Those are the two monsters, and I'm not sure how big Totaler Krieg is, that I want to get up. And here I am with all of these many, not just for this, but you know, other great battles of history games and other series that have a lot of games. For example, I picked up a lot of the ambush modules. I picked up what else? I don't know. I guess not too many others that aren't single box things. I'm not sure how much things like Silver Bayonet. I don't know. I don't even know what that's like. The James Bond game has definitely got scenarios. And then I've got on top of that the musket and pike ones, and I've got a handful of those that I haven't cracked open here in terms of scenarios. And I got the Rigorismento, which has a handful of scenarios in it. So I've got more games than I know what to do with right now that are all fresh and new. Yeah. And that's kind of a painful feeling. Anyway, been trying to get other things up, one single box, not terribly long games up. Right now I'm toying with the idea of No Peace Without Spain. I've read the rules fairly recently, so it shouldn't be too much pain for me. So there's a good chance that's up next. Some of these others, well, we'll see. Alright, up this one goes.